It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chilliefalls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to a special edition of Saturday Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. Coming to you from Port Canaveral, Florida. I apologize for the lighting in this room. It's terrible. I tried opening the curtains and the glare was so bad I couldn't see the screen. So just going to make the best of it, folks. Really, guys, this is kind of off the cuff. I had not planned on doing a show today. There's a couple of things of importance to relate. And I've said, well, let's throw one together here this morning. To bring you up to date, yesterday we stopped on the way down. I say we. I stopped, and Hot Air Tom and Cindy were, I don't know, half hour behind me or so. We stopped in Jacksonville, had a lovely lunch with Roger and his son Devin. And I found out Roger's going to be on the cruise today. So that's terrific. So we're going to visit with Roger quite a bit over this next week. That's just awesome. Welcome to today's show on November the 16th, 2024. It is, of course, a special edition brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Scoot Around, and by Chilliescruises. The lead story this morning is Sara stationary in Honduras. And man, it's just killing them in Rotan. Also today, passenger limit for Sitka, Bar Harbor Recount, another Royal Caribbean ship encounters an Atlantic storm, and Voyager the Sea Rescue. That and lots more here at a little bit after 8 o'clock this morning. Today is National Fast Food Day. And so I guess, we honor Ronald McDonald or the Burger King. I don't know. They don't even have a special, do they? Anyway, so that's what we're doing there. I just realized my oxygen is beeping. So let me reach down here and turn that off so you don't have to put up with the annoying beeping during the show. So how's that for some live entertainment? Anyway, so it's National Fast Food today. Everybody go have a Big Mac. This day in history, in 1965, the Soviet Union launches Venera 3 space probe with a mission to land on the planet Venus. On March 1st, 1966, the space probe impacted Venus, but due to communication system failure, no data was returned. And that's always been kind of a sad thing in the space industry, is they didn't get any information back from that. But it went on to, the combined efforts of the United States and the Soviet Union over space exploration. Didn't come to that at first, but it came to that in recent years. And of course, we've, for a number of years now, successfully have had both countries involved with the space station. So, and who knows where that's going to lead us in the future. If you're listening via the podcast, I hope I have time to get the podcast up today. Not 100% guaranteed on that. Also, it's not 100% guaranteed on the signal here. It seems a little wonky. So I hope that you guys are getting a decent picture, even though it's poor lighting, and you can hear as well. But anyway, if you are on a podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. So let's get to the day's news after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. So we mentioned the lead story this morning is Sara. This is what it looks like in Rotan. I mean, it's just like that everywhere. It's still right off the coast. It's not even had landfall yet, but it's stuck. And this is several days, and there's got more to come. It's right off the coast, literally, of Roatan. And so here's the information we have on it as of, I don't know, an hour ago. Sara remains nearly stationary, producing torrential rainfall with potential catastrophic flooding and mudslides for portions of Central America. It's located 25 miles southeast of Roatan, about 160 miles southeast of Belize City. Currently, the maximum sustained winds are 45. Present movement, it's steady. So, stationary. Pressure is 999, and that is holding steady. A slow west to northwest motion is forecast to begin late today, with a faster motion toward the west-northwest and northwest expected on Sunday and Sunday night. On the forecast track, the center of Sara will continue to move near the northern coast of Honduras during the next day or so before approaching Belize, and then move on shore in Belize during the day on Sunday. Little change in strength is likely today. Slight strengthening is possible tonight and Sunday before landfall in Belize. With weakening expected after that, Sara is expected to dissipate Sunday night or Monday as it crosses into the southern portion of the Yucatan Peninsula. When we hear storms are dissipating, that normally signifies the end of it. Well, not so with Sara. Now, here's the situation, and probably the most important thing or reason for doing the show today. Yes, the tropical storm has had significant damage to Central America because of the stall tactics of the storm. It just keeps sucking rain over to the dirty side of the storm, which is actually kind of to the northwest of the center, okay? But it just keeps dumping rain and dumping rain and dumping rain. Now, yeah, between the mountains, once it has landfall, it's going to start weakening. It's going to get over a little bit of water as it goes toward Belize, and then it could strengthen up a little, and then once it gets into Belize and those mountains, it's going to kill the storm itself, except for all the moisture that's still being sucked up and pulled around the storm. Now, skip ahead to a couple days from currently up in Alaska. There's this huge wave of high pressure coming down from Alaska, okay? And it's going to dip down into the continental United States and curve around and kind of exit off toward the east. That system is going to pull Sara's moisture. It's not going to be a tropical storm. It's not going to be a hurricane. It's not going to be like a hurricane, but it's going to pull all that moisture up into the system coming down from Alaska. It's going to dump a ton of snow across the Mideast, Mid-Atlantic, possibly up into New England. So you're going to expect some snowfall from this one. In the meantime, it's going to pull the moisture up enough that it's going to come roaring across and dump on Florida again, and then possibly into the Bahamas. So you're going to get some significant rainfall from this, all because the system kept stalling until this big front's coming down from Alaska, and that's going to cause weather literally all over the continental United States. What it's going to mean for cruises, we don't know yet, except everybody's going to be on alert to stay away from the significant weather. Who knows how long it's going to last coming across Florida. And significantly, of course, we're sailing today. We're supposed to get back to Port Canaveral next Saturday. Let's hope it's gone completely by then. But who knows? I mean, this time of year, even though this is late in the season now, we normally don't have to worry about the weather now, but things are changing. So that's where we stand, guys. Whether or not it's gonna make it or not, who knows? All right. The next story this morning comes out of Sitka. Sitka, of course, is a pretty fast-growing port on Alaska's Inside Passage. It's edging closer to establish a daily limit of 7,000 cruise passengers as a way to gain control over cruise tourism's impact on the destination's local population and pristine environment. One of the problems and the reason behind this, guys, is there's not a whole to do in Sitka. There's not a lot of excursions, but they're dumping in thousands of people every day with not a lot to do. So it's crowded, and that crowded causes problems. The Sitka Assembly last week approved a non-binding memorandum of understanding with the city's privately owned Sitka Sound Cruise Terminal that sets the cap on cruise guest arrival at 7,000. So, who knows? This is, I think, pretty likely to pass now. So,
we have the equipment you need to stay mobile. Whether you need a wheelchair, scooter, power chair, rollator, oxygen, or other pieces of mobility equipment, Scootaround, powered by Will, can help. Once you've booked your rental, we can deliver it to wherever you need. For your mobility needs, contact me or call Scootaround at 888-441-7575. Use SRN 11137 for the best rates.
All right, so getting back to the news now, let's see where we are to the next story. The next story comes from our friends up at Bar Harbor. You notice, folks, I'm doing this the old-fashioned way, so it's not quite as timely, and hopefully my voice will make it without cracking. Normally, I pre-tape this stories, guys. Guys all know that by now. Because I have the problems with the breathing treatments and what it does to my voice. All right, after Bar Harbor residents narrowly voted to maintain the town's strict limit on cruise ship arrivals, rejecting a proposal that would have raised the daily cap from 1,000 to 3,200 passengers, one local resident is rallying support for a recount. The decision made on November the 5th election passed by a slim margin of just 63 votes, 1,776 votes in favor of keeping the existing cap, 1,713 opposed. So they're asking for a recount. That's probably well within their rights. So, we'll see if anything comes from that. Wow, this was another really strange story. We just had the story about, the ship getting in a terrible storm in the Atlantic. And here, just days after that scary list, that's what they're calling it, which startled passengers aboard Explorer the Seas, called minor damage, multiple injuries, and a delay in the ship's transatlantic crossing, another Royal Caribbean ship has encountered rough weather that required a sudden course correction. Now, let's see if I can do this, folks. Again, I'm trying some things a little bit different. That's what the weather looked like over there in the Atlantic. Pretty rough. I don't know if you could hear that or not, because I never can tell when I got films on. My machine doesn't tell me that. But anyway, those are some pretty rough seas they got into over there. I guess aboard the Odyssey of the Seas, also on her transatlantic crossing from Rome to New York, ran into a severe line of storms that required an abrupt shift in the ship's course. Guests on board made the most of the stormy day, and the ship's activities remained largely unaffected, although everything from on deck was moved inside. The next stop will be Odyssey of the Seas winter home port when the ship arrives at Cape Liberty in Bayonne, New Jersey tomorrow. So they had a little bit of a scare coming across. Captain got him out of it. little rough. They had some water splashing up over deck 3 windows. But, they'll be home soon. At least that schedule made it all the way. All right, so the other, I didn't want to do that. The other story this morning, guys. Actually, there's 2 stories left this morning. One, I don't seem to have a photo, but anyway, Voyager of the Seas kicked off a weekend with an emergency rescue. The Royal Caribbean cruise ship, which is currently in the middle of a transatlantic voyage, rescued a stranded family and their dog, we think, while sailing in West Africa. Yesterday, the vessel happened upon a family while sailing off the coast of Marrakesh, Morocco. According to witnesses, the stalled sailboat had engine problems that resulted in a loss of power. Making matters worse, the smaller vessel had also lost its mast, effectively stranding those on board. It's currently unclear how many passengers were stuck on the private vessel. Some witnesses saying it was a family of 4, 2 kids and 2 adults, or a family of 6, 4 adults and 2 kids, as well as their black Labrador retriever. Not sure how many they rescued, but they rescued somebody and the dog. So, and the final story this morning, folks, I'm not sure exactly how to interpret this one. P&O Ventura, more than 100 passengers who sailed on the P&O Ventura are suing the cruise line and its parent company, Carnival Corporation. The claims submitted Hudgill solicitors on behalf of 115 affected guests alleged the passengers suffered illnesses, loss of enjoyment, and financial setbacks during cruises aboard the ship between April and June of 2024. We've had several stories about the gastrointestinal issues on the ship. It happens, folks, on cruise ships. Yes, they did thoroughly clean the ship 3 times. There's been no further information on sailings after that. But I'm not sure that that's going to rate a lawsuit. Now, yes, I don't think they offered enough, money back. But, that's just me. Now, will that stand up in court? That's a whole nother ballgame. I don't know anything about Australian courts. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. All right, so that's going to, oh, no, it's not. I got to do a commercial, don't I? Got to do a commercial on the Poesia. Where's the other commercial? Oh, there it is.
Experience Alaska at an affordable rate. VR1 balconies are only $1,289, including taxes and port charges. MSC Poesia sails from Seattle, May 25th, 2026. Book now. Call 434-258-9264 or go to bit.ly/PoesiaAlaska1.
All right, that's going to put an end to the news portion of today's show. I wasn't counting on a whole lot of people jumping in here this morning. Let's see who's in the chat room. There's Gretchen. Mike's with us. Big surprise. Yes, it is. There's John Tweedy. Says, hey, good morning, John. How are you doing today? I'm doing good. It's sail away day for me. I get on the Norwegian Epic here in the next few minutes. Jamin's with us. Good morning, Jamin. Wish I was on a cruise ship today. Simply bleak here. Yeah, and you're probably going to get some snow next week, too. Getting our COVID shot today. We'll be on Sun Princess in 2 weeks. I'll have to wait. Yes. Good video and audio, Chillie. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. Gretchen says, by the way, where has Elizabeth been? Yeah, she was in Cozumel day before yesterday. I can't remember if they might be back in Miami today. They're selling Eastern and Western Caribbean. She's on Resilient Lady, but because of her work schedule, she hasn't been able to join us during the show. So I did hear from her last night, as a matter of fact. A couple more people from X. Ibram says, hello, how are you doing? We're doing good here. Always good when I'm getting ready to get on a cruise ship. Amy's with us, says good morning, Amy. There's Joanne, popped in too. Donna Williams says, hey, good morning, Donna. How are you doing? I'm doing good. There's Roger. Hi, Roger. Just got on YouTube. Good morning. Thank you, Roger, and I look forward to seeing you again here in a couple hours. Roger will be driving up to, Devin's going to drive him up down from Jacksonville, and he'll be getting on the Epic today, as will Hot Air Tom, a whole bunch of people. This is the cruise ship Dr. Cruise, folks. Looking forward to actually getting to meet Gerald and his family, and then a lot of the cruise ship Doctor folks. It's going to be a really fun week, I think. Gretchen says, snow. Yes, indeed. You got some coming. You can have blame this stupid Sara for it, too. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. I will try to get things processed and up before I take off from the hotel and meander over to the ship. Well, I don't meander. I drive over and park there because Florida allows free parking for as long as you have permanent handicap plates on and are transporting a wheelchair or some kind of mobility device. You can park for free, which is awesome. I wish all ports did that. So, all right, that's going to wrap me up for today, folks. Thanks for popping in. Don't forget, smash that thumbs up button. That'll help us out a bunch. If you haven't subscribed, please take this as my invitation to do so. And join us anytime. Monday through Friday is our regular time for this. And then we do special stuff when I'm on cruises. My schedule could get funky during the week, folks, trying to keep up with that and when I'm going on shore excursions and going ashore. So there might be some changes on the fly, but I'll be doing a show, at least one show every day. And could we do more than that? So who knows? We'll see how it goes. It's going to be an exciting week. All right. Thanks for being with me, everybody. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising. Hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas like a bunch of us are going to do here later on today. Looking forward to it. Have a great day, everybody. See you next time.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chilliescruises.